Coming soon to theaters. Podcasts, film reviews, and so much more. Available at tristanmiller.substack.com.
And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Focus Testing, a podcast about movies where we want to make a movie. My name is Tristan Miller, and joining me today is the hilarious Hattie Hayes, one of my best friends. Hello, Hattie. How are you?
Hi, I'm so good. I am so good. Guess what's in my oven?
Yeah, it's not a bun. I know that much. It's not a bun. Is it a popcorn?
No, better.
What?
The answer is 3 potatoes.
3 potatoes. 3 potatoes in an oven. You know, I remember that Bible story. And then a 4th potato showed up in the fiery oven. And they were like, who's that guy? And some people say it's Yahweh, and some people say it's Jesus Christ. Some people say it's Gabriel. It's a mystery.
And then I ate all of them.
I eat your potato.
I ate the Christ potato. The Hattie Hayes story.
That's the Irish Catholic version of the Eucharist.
Yeah.
It's just a baked potato. So, what was the first movie you saw in the cinema? Do you remember? Or what is the first movie you remember seeing in the cinema, I should say?
The first movie I remember seeing in the theater was actually Annie, the curly red-haired one. And here's some more details. So, the 1999 remake of Annie, the one which has inexplicably Sarah Hyland from Modern Family in it as an orphan. I was obsessed with that. I had it on DVD or VHS, and one of my earliest memories, not just of the cinema but ever, is I guess when that proved to be a success, they did a re-release of the original Annie movie with Carol Burnett as Miss Hannigan, curly red-haired Annie. They did a re-release in theaters, and my dad took me and my cousin Mamie. And for whatever reason, she and I were really into orphan core as kids, little orphan Annie pretending to be an orphan.
Yeah.
Molly, the American Girl doll, because she was as close as you could get to an orphan of the American Girl dolls at the time. And I remember going to see Annie, curly red-haired Annie, in the theater, and I was like, this is awesome. All the songs, way crazier events, and also way more racism. That 1999 was a peak year for not being racist, but boy oh boy, was it a step up from Annie's of the past. Then again, I also, because this is who I am and was, had a lot of the original Annie comic book stuff. I had I had a lunchbox with a plastic lunchbox with Annie, the orphan as depicted in the comic, with just the hollow, soulless eyes.
Yeah.
And that, of all things, was definitely rife with the imagery and language of its era. So is the most diplomatic way of, hey, HBO, hire me to introduce old movies.
Yeah.
To write the intro.
What is that Disney? Is it Robert Menken who does that Disney introduction, or the Warners? He does Warners. It's like, hey guys, in this one, Bugs does Mammy. It's not great. Sorry.
We don't like it, but
I'm sorry.
We can't fix it, so
yeah. Oh, brother. That's really lovely. What a nice little experience. So you were obsessed with being an orphan.
Yes.
Did that bleed into liking Harry Potter or Star Wars or Lord of the Rings as well?
I definitely liked Harry Potter because he was an orphan. I was like, magic I can take or leave, but
magic is real. Orphans, they're exciting.
Yeah, orphans are magic. When I was growing up, into my approaching double-digit years, I would play a game with my mom. I would force my mom to play a game called Baby in a Basket. where I would pretend to be a baby that she found in a basket on her doorstep and she had to take care of me. Which like it's really funny to make your mom play your mom when you're already her daughter. It's like, let's play a game in which you raise me and I'm your child. Like, why? What were the limits of my creativity at that point in my life?
Bet you loved Prince of Egypt. Loved that.
I saw Prince of Egypt once in school.
In school, they couldn't do that
once-
anymore. I'll tell you that. You can't say anything anymore. You can't say this
No.
guy's the Prince of Egypt anymore, can you?
No, you can't. You can't even say he's from Egypt. You
can
just
I,
be like, just some prince.
Can I run a joke I've been working on by you?
Yes, hold on. Let me brace myself. Okay.
Okay, thank you. This is
Okay.
this is
Got my
woke.
stress doll.
This is woke Pontius Pilate. Bring me bring me the man that they call King of the Jews. Come on, guys. King of the Jewish people, surely. And, democratically appointed person of the Jewish faith.
That's good.
That's my new character, woke Pontius Pilate.
That's good. That's good.
Thanks. But you only saw it once in school.
Yeah. Yeah. There was like, I guess it was just generic, like in movie class or in music class. You know when the teacher's hungover?
Yeah.
And you get to watch a movie?
Yeah.
I think our music teacher in 5th grade was hungover a lot because I saw more movies that year, more musical movies, and also movies tangentially related to music than I ever have before or since. I'm pretty sure that's when I watched Amadeus. I have to point out again.
5th grade?
Now, I have to point out again, I was very 12.
Heck no.
And and that's a long movie, so it must have been a bad week for our music teacher. Because of course you'd be breaking it up into sections. This is also the year that choir membership was compulsory, and we did sing and play on the piano the song "I Believe I Can Fly."
I was hoping you were going to say Amadeus.
I wish.
I
a
believe
lot of religious songs in 5th grade choir. I did not go to a religious school. I went to a public school in Missouri, which I guess is the same thing.
I was going to say.
But yeah, that's definitely got exposed to a lot of culture in that environment.
What's your favorite cinema snack?
Okay, so I'm a delinquent, and I am a firm believer in the best snack you can watch in a movie theater is as much as you can fit in your biggest purse. When I saw a highlight, so previously when I lived in Astoria, the nearest movie theater to me that wasn't in Queens, because no one wanted to come to Queens to see me, was the Kips Bay.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Great theater.
Great theater. And extremely conveniently close to a 7-Eleven. So typically, I would go, I would get my taquitos, I would get my hot dogs, I would get some bottled drinks, I would get some chips, I would get some candy, I would get a dessert into the purse, and then away I go. One particular movie going snacking experience that stands out to me in my memory is one of the multiple times I saw Lady Bird in the theater, a Greta Gerwig joint. I went with a friend and we sneaked in an entire baguette and a ball of Boursin cheese and some knives. And so we just ate bread and cheese. I want to say that was at the Angelica. I saw Lady Bird at least twice at the Angelica. And really, like, I don't think you should ever give a movie theater your money for snacks. I think you should take in, like, I would never lie on my taxes, but I would sneak anything into a movie theater. I don't care. This is the one bad thing. The one crime. My one crime is I think you should sneak as much piping hot gas station food.
That's the funniest part of it is like, miss, your bag smells like a gastrointestinal mistake. What's going on in there? And you're like, don't worry about it, boss.
Don't worry. I farted.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna say I didn't fart? You, I did. I farted.
I'm a
You don't
fart
smell that.
truther.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say this. While I appreciate the hustle, I appreciate it. I do disagree with it if it's a local theater. AMC, Regal, whatever.
No.
But
No. I'm
because
doubling down.
please let me finish. Because they get almost no money off of the movies, and all they make in sales is their from the concession stand. So if you really want to support a local theater, buy the $12 popcorn.
I don't, and here's why. Because my local theater, the one that I grew up with,
Mhm.
they have undergone, I'm not exaggerating. In the last 5 years, I think they've completely renovated at least 4 times.
Okay.
And like it doesn't look that much better. It's not nicer. One of the renovations, I'm like a part of the renovation is that they now also along with their like snack bar, they sell this incredibly expensive bespoke in-house flavored popcorn. And
Ugh.
I'm not exaggerating when I say they have 30 flavors. You know, you can get peanut butter Oreo, you can get grape, you can get nerds, you can get chocolate
Missouri
chip.
is a wild place.
They're all delicious. However, I'm not going to pay
Yeah.
$18 for popcorn. I'm going to sneak it in. If
Mhm.
you didn't want me to buy a flavored popcorn at the Quick Trip and sneak it in, you shouldn't have been located down the street from a Quick Trip. Like, they're raising ticket prices because they wanted heated recliners. And I'm like, if I wanted to watch a movie in a heated recliner, I would get in the car and watch it on my
through
phone.
the cinema.
Yeah, exactly.
Kool-Aid style.
Wait, can I actually tell you a crazy movie theater story about that theater?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know Spider-Man.
I do, personally. He lives here in New York.
Yeah, you're BFFs with him. He's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. You have played him. You've been him. You've embodied
I have been him
Spider-Man
a couple of times, yeah.
And when The Amazing Spider-Man came out in theaters, I think it was The Amazing Spider-Man. It might have been The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It opened right around 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
And so my hometown theater, the Miller 8, yeah, that's the one that I feel no issue stealing from. And I think their ads are terrible. And I love it so much. But
I'm gonna tag them in this episode.
Good luck, because they also keep changing their Instagram handle every time they rebrand. And I'm like,
what? No, what? Get it together.
My little brother and I went to go see Amazing Spider-Man in the theater, and it was July 5th. And while we were in the theater, we noticed that like it smelled really smoky, but we also had the day before set off hundreds of dollars worth of fireworks, like lots of explosives. So like we definitely smelled smoky, and we were like, probably like the other people in this theater and this part of Missouri in general smells like a matchbox. And so we watched the movie, and you know, we're young, so our mom is going to pick us up. And when we go outside, our mom is waiting for us. And also there's so many ambulances and fire trucks everywhere, because while we were in this movie, the hotel next door burned to the ground. That's what that smell was. It was an active fire.
Oh no. And they didn't tell you?
They didn't tell us. They did not turn off the dark. They kept letting us watch Spider-Man. And so our mom shows up and is like, oh my God. Like, she's like, I heard all of the sirens, so I came down here. Are you guys okay? We're like, I mean, yeah, the movie was fine. Why? And she's like, so that's a happy memory of that theater. Is that time that the hotel next door burned down and no one thought to like evacuate. They're just like, probably won't spread.
Not, you know, it's kind of poetic, but also it could have been a better movie. You know, like I love that movie. I think it's a great film. But like if it'd been like, I don't know, something maybe a little grander, you would be like, oh yeah, let's go down with the ship. You know?
Yeah, like, or if it were literally any Michael Bay movie, I would have
Yeah.
just been like, go ahead, kill me.
Do it.
Do it.
Re-
Like, I would have been like, is this 3D?
Release me from this prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why Amazing Spider-Man's my favorite Spider-Man. That's why
That's
Andrew
good.
Garfield's my favorite.
He's the best.
Mhm.
He's the best. What's a movie that you've seen recently that you've absolutely hated?
That I hated.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
And
I
then I'll
see-
ask you the question you were anticipating of what one you liked, but I want to know what you hate first, Addie.
What have I hated recently? It's still January, which means it's technically still Christmas. And I watched a lot of pretty rotten, pretty terrible rotten Christmas movies while I was at home. I wouldn't say that I absolutely hated this, but it definitely I was unable, my mental acuity is feeble enough that I did not really understand how the movie Best Christmas Ever got made. It's got Brandy in it, and she plays like a cool. I'm gonna do spoilers. If you don't want spoilers for Best
Yes.
Christmas Ever,
Scrib ahead.
yeah. So basically, it's Brandy and then some like hot blonde lady. It's not Christina Applegate, but it's someone Christina Applegate adjacent. And the premise of the movie is
Christina Paragate.
yes, yeah, exactly. If Christina Applegate were on Nickelodeon, that's a deep cut for all the Zoe 101 and Victoria stands out there. But anyway, so the premise of Best Christmas Ever is that the main protagonist mom hates getting all the Christmas letters and seeing how good everyone else's family is because her family sucks. Her kids stupid. Her husband an idiot who's poor. Like hates her life. Her fabulous former best friend Brandy sends out these amazing newsletters, and she's like, I hate her because she's happy. So then one of her
Cool.
So one of the mom's shitty kids puts Brandy's address in the GPS. They drive all the way there, do not notice that they are going to not their actual destination. Brandy, who is an angel in real life, is like, hey, it's okay. You can just stay with me and my family for Christmas. Also, there was a huge snowstorm, even though we're clearly in California, so you're trapped here. But the thing that really was hard for me to get my head around is the subplot in which Brandy's son is secretly dead. And the way they cover that up is by saying that he's flying around the world in a solar-powered hot air balloon. And then there's like a whole thing where they paint the Star of Bethlehem on the hot air balloon that they've been secretly building in his memory. And then it becomes a part of the Christmas pageant. I get like the look on your face right now is how I felt because I was like, that can't be the subplot. Secret dead child, secret dead son. What?
That's such a headache. I can't I'm with you. I'm like, what is happening
Like it's
there?
Like, and the thing is, there are good and also less bad family Christmas movies on Netflix.
Sure.
My family hated. This is actually really funny. We watched Family Swap on Netflix, which I was excited about because Weezer's in it, and my brother is a known Weezer stan. I am an ally to Weezer fans everywhere. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. And it's got one of the hot Jennifers. It's got Ed Helms, who I love. It's got one of the kids from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, like animated series. Like, And I thought it was really cute. It's like a Freaky Friday, and the dog and the baby switch braids. It's so funny. My family hated it. They were like, that sucked. We hated this. It made me so, I was like, why? There were too many fart jokes. And I'm like, okay, listen.
That's what, you go away to the East Coast, you become a coastal elite, and you love cinema,
Yeah, I love film.
Those yokels back in Missouri don't understand the nuance of fart jokes.
Yeah. You can't have fart without art, idiots.
Is that your favorite one that you've seen recently?
Oh God, no. No,
I was hoping that it would have been though.
That would have been really funny. It was like, yeah, this a film. No, I recently I recently watched and then made my boyfriend watch Dan in Real Life. Are you
Oh, sure,
familiar?
yeah.
I had no inkling of what it was about. And my mother famously hates Steve Carell, would not be sad if he died today. And
Interesting.
so the fact that she's the one who recommended this movie, she's like, "Oh, it's really cute," and I was like, "Girl," and
That's
it
the
was
one
it
with
was
Pancake's head, right?
pancake. Yeah, yes,
On the poster. Yeah.
yes, that's Pancake's head. The pancakes are a plot point.
Oh,
Um, and very cute movie. Make me cry a bunch. Make my boyfriend cry a bunch. Both of us cried so much, so much. And the only bad part, there was a jump scare in this movie where there's a scene where Steve Carell's character, Dan, from real life, is being not arrested, but apprehended by an officer of the law. And I got jump scared because the man who plays that officer of the law is Matthew Morrison from Glee. Surprise Glee. Just look. Just no
yeah.
one should endure it. Just I was like, God. I was like, oh no, it's Mr. Shoe. Yeah, why is he a cop? Ah. It was so scary because like at first you kind of see him and you're like, that guy kind of looks like Justin Timberlake. But then you see him up close and you're like, ugh, no, it's worse. It's worse.
Justin Timberlake's Tulpa. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yes. Yes.
It's so funny. Oh, you hate a jump scare from Glee.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for some movie trivia?
I am.
All right. So first question, same question to everybody. What is movie?
Um, you know, when you read a book and it
No.
isn't going, yeah, well, see, you know when you read a book and it's not going,
Mm.
movie is going. It's
I
going.
see.
It's
Movie is book
it's
that
going.
goes.
It goes. It goes.
Mm,
And
mm,
it's also song that stays. Book
mm.
that goes, song that stays. Their beautiful union, that's movie. To me, to me, to
That's
me, that's movie.
100%. I like that. I like that a
Do
lot.
you agree?
Um, I agree with the essence of it.
Who has anyone ever asked you what is movie?
Movie to me is a waste of time. No. Movie
Mm-hmm.
to me uh is intuition made manifest.
Wow.
Yeah,
Teach me
it's
yoga.
well, it's like, you have all these abstractions and instincts on the daily basis, and then someone is they get it and they kind of capture it for an hour and a half, 2 hours,
Yeah.
and you go, that's it. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's
That's how
true.
I feel about it. Um, what movie has the best soundtrack?
Um, Unfortunately, I regret to inform you it is in fact Baby Driver. Like
Just a
it
cursed
is.
film now, but
It's
yeah, it's a
Baby
good
Driver.
soundtrack.
Unfortunately, it's Baby Driver. Notting Hill also has a great soundtrack, and
Mm-hmm.
it's got an extremely 90s soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And songs that you kind of forget are in it. Like, the really the kind of pinnacle of the Notting Hill soundtrack is the Elvis Costello "She," just a song about pronouns. Well, actually, just pronoun. We don't even get
Pronoun.
her. We just get she. But yeah, the soundtrack to Notting Hill is crazy. Some like good 90s deep cuts and like it's yeah, underrated. I think that in years to come, that's gonna be like a TikTok thing. Like all the girlies who are nostalgic about the 90s because they were born in the wrong era, 2002, are going to
Yeah, you get those teens. You
mhm,
you
I
dunk
get
on
them.
those.
Yeah, get their asses.
Get
But
their
also
ass.
I'm gonna get them, but also I get them. I'm like, yeah,
For
I
sure. We all went through
too.
that same thing in the 2000s about the 80s. I don't know what
Yeah.
to tell you. That's a very good answer. Have you watched Music and Lyrics?
Oh my God,
Also
yes.
great soundtrack.
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
Um,
yes. That's all.
what I know this because I'm a friend of yours, I know that you're really into Marvel characters in as much as you're into fan fiction. If you had to kill a Marvel character forever, he would
Hawkeye.
never come back.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye?
Hawkeye.
Hot guy?
Hawkeye.
Okay,
Can I
why?
kill Jeremy Renner?
No, the character, but you can try to kill Jeremy Renner if you want
If
to.
I kill
He'll
Hawkeye
do it
forever-
himself, it seems, any minute now. He's having
Sorry,
a rough time of it.
Yeah, I shouldn't be bullying Jeremy Renner, but
Yeah,
nevertheless, I persisted.
persist. So Hawkeye, why?
Okay, so you should know that pretty consistently in the Marvel fan fiction universe,
Okay.
and this is obviously not a universal, but Hawkeye is pretty consistently paired either with Agent Coulson, or Black Widow, which I don't think I ever read straight fan fiction, so no. Or as like an alternative backup person to Bucky. And I personally think Bucky should date Loki. And so Bucky Barnes
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
and Loki should be boyfriends. And so if Hawkeye were eliminated, I would never have to encounter him messing up my ship triangles in my fan fiction ever again.
I like
So
it.
yes, my answer is entirely it's a two-pronged. Don't like Jeremy Renner very much. Love fan fiction, but don't want Hawkeye in there. I will say that there is one genre of Marvel fan fiction in which I can deal with Hawkeye as a character, and it's one. There's a subgenre of Marvel fan fiction where all the Avengers are veterans of the Iraq War. It's a really common thing, and in those, Hawkeye's always really well written as like someone who like watched a lot of his friends die in a war and is dealing with it in a really annoying way. And I find him to be a really sympathetic character in those fan fictions. But in any other genre, in anything like when they're in high school, in that one fan fiction where it's just the Avengers in the plot of Friends, like in those, no. None of the other alternate universe Avengers fan fiction do I find him bearable.
You know, the amount of information you've just given me about things that I just did not know about.
If you invite me into your home, and by home I mean podcast, don't be surprised when I bring a can of worms for dinner. Okay?
I won't. I won't and shan't. And worms. What movie makes you the horniest? Can't be pornography.
That's a good question. What movie makes me the horniest? Not Baby Driver, although it's up there. I don't know. It's tough because like I'm very much like a TV horny girl. Like you know how I feel about. Has anything made me horny besides NBC's Hannibal?
Did any of the Hannibal movies make you horny?
No. Hold on. I'm thinking.
Okay. I'll pause.
Oh, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Ooh, why Last Crusade specifically?
Many reasons. One of them is Harrison Ford, and the other is Sean Connery, and the third is that hot Nazi girl. Oh, and the fourth is the Knight of the Templar who guards the Grail.
Yeah, I love an old bag of bones.
I love a man who's been kept in captivity.
I was gonna say a man who's like dedicated. No, that's been held in captivity.
No, a man who has devoted his life to God for generations and is locked in a cave for centuries. I'm like, yeah, that's yeah.
You know, you saw the latest Indiana Jones, right?
Yes,
in
the theater.
In the theater as well, I saw it, and it was very fun. You know, and a lot of people gave it guff, and they gave the guff for to Crystal Skull too, of like being a little too fantastical. And then I have to like pull people aside and be like, there's a knight that's immortal in Last Crusade, and we all were just like, that's fine. You know?
Yeah, the first three are really big on like religious fantasy. Like elements, and I feel like 4 and 5 are not. Actually, you know what? 5 made me distractingly horny, and I saw it with my family
Yeah,
because
no, it's a hot movie.
Harrison Ford,
Yeah,
Mads Mikkelsen,
yeah.
riding a horse through New York City. These are very
No,
specific
Phoebe
buttons for
Waller-Bridge
me.
found dead in a ditch.
I don't care about her. I wouldn't care if she existed or not.
Oh, I'm sad for you.
And who's the guy that played your dead son?
Oh,
Mutt.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yes, I always think Mutt is a more real sounding name than Shia LaBeouf.
That's true. It is Mutt Jones. Yeah, or
The
whatever.
the omnipresent ghost of Mutt Jones does more to get me horny than Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
I couldn't disagree with you more, but I respect your opinion.
That's all right. More for me.
What movie makes me the horniest? If you had to guess.
What is you? Either the one where Luke and Leia kiss, or dunking on your ass, dunking on your ass. La 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 la.
Just because I'm from South Dakota does not mean I enjoy that.
Homeschooled ass bitch. I love you so much. What does make you? I'm trying to remember. Like, have you ever been horny?
Have I ever been horny?
Have you ever been horny?
In front of you?
Like,
probably. Near
probably.
Other people, also probably. In my life, of course.
Or the Star Wars with Kelly Marie Tran. You like her.
I do like her. I would say that. Last Jedi doesn't make me particularly horny, but I appreciate the elements there.
Scent of a Woman.
A film I have not seen, so I will have to watch it and then get back to you.
Okay, well, tell me if it makes you horny.
I will.
What movie makes you horniest? I want to know.
I don't know. I always ask that of other people, and then I thought, hey, what about me? And then a horny movie.
Did May December make
honestly,
you horny?
No. If it did not make me horny, no. I was good, thanks. Honestly, probably the last time I genuinely got like titillated watching a film was I watched Jennifer's Body for the first time 2 years ago, and I was like, oh, this would have been, had I seen this when it came out, this would have been like my whole personality. Yeah. So I'm glad I'm getting to it now when I'm a full adult. But yeah, that movie is, great in a lot of ways.
I'm gonna Google movies with girls in it.
Movies with girls. Be careful.
Movies with girls and something. Did you watch the Timothée Chalamet Cannibal movie? It did not make me horny.
No, I'm slowly warming on him, but as a general rule, I'm not interested with what he has to say or do. But he's winning me over. Okay. I got 2 more questions for you. I can't remember which other one it would be. So actually, what animal would you like to ratatouille you into success?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. I should find an animal immediately.
The hat can get as big as you need it. It's like a
thank
TARDIS.
You for clarifying. Yeah, thank you for that. Just kind of based off of what I want out of life. I think like a large bird of prey, like some sort of, or maybe like a really fast bird, like a peregrine falcon. Because I don't know. I'm definitely feeling like a bird should be in charge of me. And like, okay, so the other thing is ratatouille, rat, 2 feet, 2 hands, technically 4 paws, technically
can't lose.
Yeah. So maybe I should choose like some sort of gross bug with a lot of feet. Example, millipede, because then they could pull all my hairs at the time. Snake couldn't ratatouille me, no hands. I do think a bird would be good. A bird of some kind. It's actually, perversely, a seagull would probably do a great job of fixing my problems.
Oh, that'd be so chaotic, but yeah. Oh, yeah. Did I tell you about the seagulls in, like, they're awful everywhere, but in New Zealand there was something else. They
No,
were
you
just
told me
like,
about a bunch of other birds, but not seagulls.
oh,
What?
they were just like, they would like camp out outside of cafes. And the minute like you would stand up, there'd be like 10 of them eating whatever they could off your plate. It was frankly frightening.
I've got a question. So previously, when you've told me the birds of New Zealand, you've
Mm-hmm.
mentioned like a lot of them have like interesting or enigmatic calls.
Mm-hmm.
Do the seagulls of New Zealand have accents? Do they sound different because the birds around them are different?
I want to say yes, and they sound like "Grrr" or whatever, but no, they sound pretty much the same. Well, I will say they're less loud than American seagulls, as
Interesting.
as is everything in New Zealand.
Okay, because I, I
They're
am I am curious as to like whether the migratory patterns and just like you know locality of birds has an impact on their call even when they're the same species. And
well, it
like
certainly does, but I don't have a very good trained ear for that particular
okay,
skill set. You'd have to talk to an ornithologic person. I would say though that they did sound they were far more aggressive than any American seagulls I've encountered. I assume they sound similar to Australian seagulls because they're all kind of in the same ilk, but like I don't know. I just what's crazy is like the overlap of bird is fascinating to me because of that reason. I'm like, why are there seagulls here? Why are there seagulls in Minnesota? There's no sea, it's just a bunch of lakes, but they still show up. It's
yeah,
weird to think about.
yeah.
Anyway, final question, as always. Why is Austin Powers so sexy?
His teeth are realistic, and we live in an era. What?
Was not expecting that as an answer.
We live in an era of auspicious artifice, Tristan, and I am tired of seeing people with teeth that look like well manicured bathroom tile at a museum. And Austin Powers, for all of his other positive qualities, has the realest teeth in the game.
That's true.
And that's how you know he has zero inhibitions. He will throw his whole, I was going to say, like, do the thing where you take a word and then you take the first letter and then you add ussy. But the thing is that I would just be saying Austin Pussy. So I'm not going to say that. But he is so sexy because he understands his teeth don't need to be fixed. We need to be fixed as a society.
I like that. I like that very much. He's a real one, that's for sure. Do you think we should get another Austin Powers film?
Yeah.
I think we should.
I think yeah, they should release Austin Powers movies like grocery stores release circulars. Like one a week, an extra on Sundays, like a really big one at Christmas time and Thanksgiving. I should be getting those bad boys in my mailbox so often I can't keep up.
That's so good. Excellent. Are you ready for double features?
I'm very ready.
So, for the audience, double features, I offer up a film. Hattie has to find a film that is similar tonally or thematically, but opposite in genre. So, I'm going to ask you what would pair well with Hello, Dolly?
Oh, okay. Very good question. A woman, she wants to be loved. However, also there's a musical aspect.
The opposite of those.
Okay. Is it called Obsession? What's that Beyonce movie where she it's I'm just googling the name.
Did you type it in Googling?
Movie Beyonce.
Movie Beyonce.
I watched it one of the only times I was on a treadmill.
Have you seen the way that Dan Aykroyd introduced Beyonce and at SNL?
No.
Beyonce is what
that's amazing.
It's so good.
It's a movie. It's a movie called Obsess, and it's where Beyonce, not doing music, she has a hot husband named Idris Elba, and then there's another lady who wants to take her man and like stalks them and like tries to murder Beyonce.
Oh my God.
And I think Hello Dolly is also about really wanting a man, but not wanting everyone to know how bad you want a man. Because if that's the case, they might accuse you of the murders you have actually been secretly committing in the background. Conspiracy theory. Hello Dolly, actually scary movie.
Scary movie.
Yeah.
What would you pair with Saw?
Ooh, okay. Saw is about a guy who loves arts and crafts projects. Let's see. So definitely like a teen girl movie. Or like just like a teen movie where they build something. The Sandlot. Probably,
I kind of like
or like
that.
something of that ilk where it's like a bunch of, so like in Saw, we have one guy who's really committed to his project and gets a lot of people involved against their will. And so I think we need like a movie where like one teen boy has a dream. Now, I mean,
Wonka.
truthfully, I was gonna say Willy Wonka, the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is probably the best actual one, but I actually don't think that's that different genre wise.
That's true. Yeah,
I'm like,
there's a lot of there's a lot of traps. Well, I mean, you could use that as a thematic element. I think actually that'd be a really good pairing. What about the Avengers 1, the first one? What would you pair with that?
Bring It On.
Hell yeah, that's good.
A perfect answer.
That's great. I don't need any further explanations. Oh, that's wonderful. Are you ready for the pitch?
I am, although I really do now want to go watch Avengers and then Bring It On.
That's such a good pairing. Okay. For the random word, we have shock.
Shock. Okay.
Shock. I have a couple ideas, but I also always defer to the guest because I don't want to trample all over you.
Okay. So my idea is shock is about a girl with very frizzy hair. And she, while trying to dry her hair one day, because if she doesn't blow dry it every day, it gets frizzy. Her hair dryer gets wet, and she ends up shocking herself. And what happens is after that, every time she ever like accidentally shocks someone with static, like, in a dry environment when she's in socks, for example, she switches bodies with them. And so it becomes a thing where she gets, switched into different bodies, and then she's like trying to electrically shock herself to get back to her own body. So it's like a kind of Freaky Friday body swap situation, but she throughout the course of the film gets further and further away from her original body. And of course, the moral directive at play here is that at the beginning of the film, she's ashamed of her body, her hair being a representation of that, and ashamed of how she looks and presents to the world. But by the end of the film, she recognizes that her own skin and her own hair is what she feels most comfortable in.
Well, I like that a lot. That's really good. I like this sort of aspect where you can really get grand with it as well, like a Walter Mitty. Like she shocks someone and it's somehow she's like gonna be like setting sail to India or like flying off to India. Then she has to go there and come back. And like it could be a whole big sweeping adventure where you kind of like, get to learn about different cultures and that sort of thing. I really like it. I feel like let's flush it out.
Yeah. I also, do you want to hear another stupider idea? I also
sure.
Okay. So it's a movie like the movie Speed, where, if the bus in Speed goes too fast, blows up. It's like that, except the bad guy, bad at his job. So he just like messed with the shocks and now the bus is just really bumpy. But imagine the psychological horror at play.
Everyone's throwing up.
And the thing was,
someone's got a tattoo on their ass for the first day and they're like bleeding.
Oh yeah. And also it would be really funny if like everyone thought the bus is gonna blow up, but it's not. So they're just going really fast and it's really bumpy and they think they can't stop, but they can, and it's fine. Anyway, you're right. My first idea is much better.
Oh, that's really funny as a concept. Whew,
Take your
Nelly.
pick. Take your pick.
No, well, no, the second one feels more like a sketch from I Think You Should Leave. But I really like the first one. I think it's far better than anything I was like mulling about in my little head. But it is rather complete as an idea. So we're really just
Yeah.
flushing out the three acts that we would need, right? You really
Yeah.
outlined the plot quite easily. So I feel like we would have to spend like the first 20 minutes going, maybe that she's if we're gonna go with cliches here, she's new to the school, all the people are bullying her because she has this beautiful frizzy curly hair. And so she starts to like try and straighten it and all this. And there's a fun like little sequence like from Mrs. Doubtfire when he's trying on different makeups, and she's trying different hairstyles and they always poof back and it's all this nonsense.
I feel like she should also have an after school job,
Mm,
either like working like as like housekeeping staff, like at like a banquet hall or a resort or something, like something
Mhm.
where she would ostensibly be shuffling across carpet in ugly shoes a lot, because
Sure.
that builds up some static. Or something else that's like hair adjacent or fur adjacent, like maybe she wants to be a vet, like a vet tech. And so she's
If
helping out like in an animal shelter. And so she like at one point she switches places with a
Mhm.
dog.
The suggestion I would make is having worked at a preschool, they always have carpeted like the springy car,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of static during the winter. And the idea, as much as I do love the dog, a baby in a human's body, in a human's body, as babies aren't human, a baby in an adult's body and vice versa, very funny as a concept to me.
Funny.
Like she swaps with the kid and it admittedly just like shits itself.
Yeah.
And it's just humiliating. And I mean, if we're gonna go with like kind of a goofy comedy, obviously thing is like the way she's with the next person is the woman's breastfeeding the child.
That would be very funny. Also,
And
now
so
I'm
this
thinking,
woman wakes up like they swap bodies with her own tit in her mouth.
yeah.
And she's like, oh, I get it now, actually.
Oh man. Also, wow, I would hate if someone were going to suckle from my breast and I shocked them with my nipple. That would suck.
Yeah, it would.
Ugh.
Would
Or if they shocked me on my nipple.
yeah. Boo. Don't do it, fam.
Don't do it. Hey,
Talking to
kids.
you, Gen Z. You might be thinking about doing that. Don't. It's bad for the
Only-
environment.
Only you can prevent nipple static. Everyone go home and shave your areolas tonight, okay?
Do it.
Trust me.
So I like that. I like her first kind of discovering this power at the preschool.
Mhm.
Like, and that's where because then you just like have this big set piece where she's like bipping around because everyone's staticky there.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot easier. And then I feel like she switches bodies with like someone about to leave or something. There has to be a way that she can't get back to her original body.
Yeah.
Ooh, if I may, because her original body shits itself right as it, happens. Then she, like in child form, immediately gets picked up by her mom because the person's just shat themselves and passed out. So then the ambulance comes and then they take that person away to the hospital. And so she's still stuck as baby. They swap.
Yeah. Well, and also a thing that I was thinking is, do you remember well, no, you wouldn't actually. Never mind. I was gonna say, do you remember when you were in elementary school? And then I was like, not that you don't remember elementary school, which is that yours was your house.
Yes.
So in public in public schools and also like in daycares and stuff, there's like a phenomenon that happens where like a guy will just come in with a bunch of animals and be like, look at these.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like I was thinking like the preschool could have like, all right, kids, it's lizards and snake day. And then like, the lizard, she switches with the lizard man. That's also an option. So now she's not only been shocked and now she's in a lizard man's body, but now she's in charge of all the lizards. She's gotta drive she has to try to drive across town. And mind you, she's like a younger girl, so maybe she doesn't even know how to drive. She's gotta drive a van full of snakes, get these mother effing snakes out of my mother effing van.
I love this idea of she can't drive. So she like immediately pulls forward, bangs into another car, shoots through the windshield, lands on someone, shocks them. And so she gets up. She's like, I'm good. And their person is like a broken neck or whatever.
Yeah, dead body covered in snakes.
Snakes. There's this element though of like, which this is all very good gags, but how does the character feel about like causing this much collateral damage? I feel like if we make her young enough, she won't care. She's just like, I gotta get to my body.
Yeah. Or if maybe if, because like I'm kind of envisioning like Mia Thermopolis level of dorkery in the beginning from Princess Diaries. And like I'm also kind of thinking of her as someone who's like, you know, her best friend's like, oh, you've never done anything bad in your life. Like,
Oh, sure.
You're such a goody goody. You know, you volunteer at this preschool after school and like, you know, you work so hard and you're on the gymnastics and tumbling team because those mats create a lot of static and that's important for later. Like, why don't you just do one thing just for you? And she's like, oh, best friend with a slutty mom. I couldn't do that. Because like that's the dynamic, you know?
Yeah.
And then like, so then she's like, okay, you know, I like at first, like she's trying really hard not to touch anybody because she doesn't want to swap and she doesn't want to create chaos. And then she's like, you know what? Life is chaos. I have to stop worrying so much about A's and B's and worry about me. So that's, you know, like perfection isn't perfect. I don't need to worry about my frizzy hair. I'm great as I am. And that means sometimes being a little messy.
I like that a lot.
I hope that Target reaches out to me and says, we're ready for you to market the toy line we've based off of your fictional film. Because I'm ready. I'm ready for a hairstyling set that like her face swaps. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so yeah, she crashes her
little wind-up toy where she goes.
Yeah.
She crashes through the snakes. That guy's dead.
Kills a man.
Kills a man, and I think
orphans the snakes.
Orphans the snakes. I think the idea of like her crashing into someone and getting hit with the person that they crash into, that she crashes into, should be a very famous person. Like you're like, oh my God, I'm like George Clooney or whatever. I'm Anne Hathaway. Oh my God, this is incredible. And then someone goes like taps on her shoulder and they immediately swap.
The really good thing to me in my mind would be if it's like like the person who she switches places with, the celebrity, is the favorite celebrity of her enemy at school. Because then like, you know, school enemy sees her and is like, oh my God, Salma Hayek, I love you so much.
She's like, suck a dick, Jessica.
Yeah. And then she gets tapped. So now the school enemy is in celebrity's body. No one will ever believe her. And now she has a perfect cover because now she's like, great, I can go cause chaos and it will look like my enemy, Julie from Homeroom, did it.
Yes.
Also, this character's name is now Julie from Homeroom. So she's in the body of Julie from Homeroom.
Julie from Homeroom. I like that. And then I think she should sow the seeds of chaos there. And I think she's at the school. She goes to the school. She starts like TPing everything, blah, blah, blah. She gets brought into the principal's office. And since her parents are such a big donor to the school, they're going to let it slide. She goes, no, you have to expel me. And the principal goes, I'm not going to expel you. That's ridiculous. And then she swaps with the principal and goes, you're expelled.
I love that. That's hilarious.
I'm in charge here.
Yeah.
And then I think there's got to be a moment where when, you know, she's amassed all this power where she has to take a minute and go, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know,
and like so what we need is like the person who's like really in every way the opposite of her, who she can swap into. And then she realizes how much she misses her life. So maybe that's like a teacher who like respects her, but like she's butted heads with. Like I'm thinking, you know, someone who had like in the first act of the movie, like try to lift her up and make her feel better about herself. You know, maybe she got an A- on a test or a quiz, and like she felt bad, and her teacher was trying to give her a pep talk, and she just like lost her temper and was really mean to this teacher. And so now she's like in this teacher's body, and she realizes, wow, I like seeing, reading my work that's here on the desk. Like I see that it's actually really good. And like in our class photo, I look so pretty. Like she's realizing like how everyone else sees her, which is like a nice, pretty, successful girl with a lot going for it, a lot of potential. And maybe all of this happens like towards the end of the school year. So like maybe there's a yearbook lying around, or it could be like her gymnastics coach. That would work too, actually.
That would be really good.
Because then ultimately that could be a way that she, because it has to be someone she knows, because ultimately she needs to get back to the hospital and or her original house to swap back with her original body. And so it needs to be someone who knows her parents, say, hello, let me in your child's hospital room after she had shit disease attack.
I like that a lot. And I would love for the coach to be Patrick Warburton.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Oh, so that's the shocking thing, is it? And he just knows about it. Well, yeah, this happens twice a year. Like, yeah. Okay, let's get you back to your body.
Yeah, and then like, you think this is the first time I've seen someone on a tumbling mat switch bodies? Wrestling season's a nightmare. Like,
they should have been here back in 93. It's just awful.
Yeah.
Not because of that, because of Waco, but no, that's not the right year. Anyhow, I like that a lot. I think getting her back to her body makes sense. But how do we reset all the chaos?
So I think that some person she encounters along the way who happens to know a lot about magic will conveniently explain that once she's back in her old body, it will have a domino effect and everyone else will return to their own bodies. But that's also part of it, is in order to fix the chaos she's created, she has to get back to her own body.
I think it can be Patrick Warburton again. Because he's like, again, like I've dealt with this so much. All you got to do with this.
Yeah. And I also think it would be a good twist if one of her parents, maybe like her dad and Patrick Warburton were best friends growing up, or like knew each other, and like maybe this happened when her dad was in high school and he didn't believe it. Like he didn't believe that it was a real thing. And now, and like maybe that's why he and Patrick Warburton stopped being friends. But now, so there's always been like this tension between the two of them. And now she not only does she learn to appreciate herself and all of the people in her community and her role there, but she also repaired a friendship.
That's very good. I like that a lot. I love also this tag of like, everything's back to normal, fantastic. And then they go, the snake guy. And then it just jump cuts to a funeral.
And everyone at the funeral has a snake on them.
Exactly.
Britney
Spears is there with the boa constrictor. There's not just the one casket, there's caskets for the snakes.
Yeah, there's a casket and the casket sheds its skin and there's another casket inside. Oh yeah. Everyone, okay, that's good. That's really good.
I think that's great. I think we definitely have a winner. Who do you think
I just love the audacity of having like a really funny movie with one brutal death that we make sure to nail at the end. Like, yeah, that guy's canonically dead. That guy's mother will grieve him for the rest of her days.
So he could not be more dead.
Yeah.
He could not be more dead. I think should be someone really likable too in that role, who you're like, oh, cool. This actor's here.
Bob Odenkirk.
I disagree with that assessment, but I know you love him.
I mostly think it would be I think that it would be a really believable sad funeral.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone would be sad that Bob Odenkirk had died. I was thinking also like someone like Tom Hanks or something, but I think that might be too extreme.
Buster Bluth would also be a good snake guy, just in terms of character. And also, like, I wouldn't feel bad about killing him. Like, not that I don't like him, but like, if he died in the movie, I don't think it would.
It would be funny. It wouldn't be like, oh my god.
Oh no, Jack Black.
Oh, sure, yeah, yeah. And he's got
That's
his
it.
huge beard and he's doing an Australian accent, but he's not really from Australia. He
Yeah.
has the Australian accent up until they switch, and then she starts talking. It's like there's a normal voice, normal
Yeah.
voice. So I've just been lying, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like that a lot. I like that as a concept for the Jack Black. Who do you think should direct this picture?
Um, that's a good question. Who probably someone who's done like one of the better recent teen movies from uh actually no, changed my mind. I think it should be Daisy von Schurler-Meyer, who did Party Girl and also has done several episodes of Yellow Jackets.
That sounds great.
She would get the teen dynamics right, and she also would do great with like the sense of humor and the absurdity. I would say backup option Karen Kusama, who did Jennifer's Body and has also directed episodes of Yellow Jackets. There's one show about teenage girls that has my heart. And similarly, the girl with the poofy hair should be played by Samantha Hanratty of Yellow Jackets.
Jackets. Can we get
curly,
Melanie Lynskey?
We absolutely can. Absolutely, yeah.
Should
Melanie
play
Lynskey.
Play her mom?
Yeah. Well, no, should play the mom at the preschool who breastfeeds her. Because if we
a very small part for her, but yes.
No, because here's the thing: if we market this movie as Jack Black loves snakes, and you see Melanie Lynskey's boob, we will have captured every bisexual worldwide, and we will make millions.
That's true. That's very true. I had not taken that into consideration. That's great. A+ would do. I'll email Bob Iger and see if he wants to buy it.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
I know you said some dumb shit lately, but I got an idea for you. You want to do a lightning round?
Yes, I do.
The way it works is we get the same word. I do a quick pitch, you do a quick pitch.
Okay.
2 sentences or so. So I have consolidate. Consolidate is about a funeral director who's overbooked, and he is trying to manage the fact that the funeral home has so many people coming at the same day, and it's consolidate.
Oh, that's really cute. Yeah, that's really good. Consolidate is about a single mom who
works too hard, who loves her kids and never stops.
Yeah, yes. And she runs a storage unit complex. And so it is about her trying to clear out the remaining units in order to finally sell the damn place now that her last kid has graduated and go on a road trip during which she will contain all of her belongings in a single backpack.
That's really good. I like that a lot.
Thanks.
Salvation.
Salvation or salivation?
Salvation, like the army.
Okay.
I think this is an Adam Sandler vehicle. Plays an Italian man, and this Italian man
his name is Salvation. I know
his
Salvation.
Salvation, and he goes around trying to do good deeds because he's got a past. She's got a past. I know. I want to make up for it, and he goes around doing that. And then it turns out the bad thing that he did was he stepped on a crack and broke his mother's back growing up, and he's like, I can't live with myself. I gotta make good. So that's
I would see that. I would pay money to see that. I would sneak bread. I would sneak bread into that theater. Salvation. I'd sneak bread into that theater.
That's a great, great adage.
Salvation is about a pair of identical twins, one of whom is an angel of death at a local hospital.
Hell yeah.
The other helps cover up the crimes by sneaking all of the dead people's belongings into the Salvation Army thrift store where she works.
That's so good. That's really cool. I like
Yes.
that a lot. Come on, beep, 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 beep. We have it's Prestige. We can't do Prestige. That's already a movie.
Okay, so there's a magician and Nikola Tesla's there too.
Andy Serkis is there briefly. The best part of the
David Bowie.
Come on, give me a better one. Come on. It just says kill.
Kill.
Kill. Kill. Kill. So this is a guy who has to deal with a leprechaun. And in order to be free from a leprechaun's curse, he has to go on a murderous rampage where he kills Arnie, he kills Kenny, and he kills, and so on and so forth, until he realizes that there's no actual end to the curse, because if you kill enough Irish people and Muppets, you turn into a leprechaun yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope that never happens to me.
I would hate if that happened to me.
Kill is a period piece set in the period before the Revolutionary War, where a Dutch settler played by Mads Mikkelsen travels down the river, Kill being Dutch for river, womanizing, like meeting and marrying young farm girls and taking advantage of and then murdering them until a community of women whose husbands abandoned them for being promiscuous because they were all very puritanical. A community of women intercepts and tortures him to death, and they film all of it. They show all the torture. Lots of farm implements are used. He bleeds a bunch. They bleed him into the river. There's a shot of him bleeding into the river, and like the water's running over his body, and he's all naked and stuff. And it's scary.
Good. I'd sneak bread into that film.
Yeah. No, I'd sneak bread and cheese into that. Yeah. I'm gonna need my energy for that one.
What do you want people who listen to this podcast to know about you? What you up to?
First of all, I'm mysterious.
That's true.
They should go to hattiehays.com, which is spelled how it sounds, and they should sign up for my newsletter. And they shouldn't follow me on social media. They shouldn't do that. Get out of there. That's gross. Yuck. Instead,
save yourself.
Instead, if you want to know anything about me, send me an email. I'll respond. Just email me. Just
you got the time.
HattieJHayes@gmail.com. I love getting emails. Email me and say like, hey, I also love Mads Mikkelsen, and I want to give you $10 million and let you meet him. And I'll say, hey, sorry it took me so long to respond. I was sleepy, but I would love to do that if you're still willing to give me money and take me to Mads Mikkelsen's house. Also, who are you? Send me an email. Email me right now.
To you, the listener, I say thank you for listening. You can support this podcast at tristanmiller.substack.com, get early access in the video of the podcast, as well as I sometimes do film reviews there and some other stuff. As far as I go, you can look down in the show notes and see what I'm up to. I prefer comedy all over the place. I have another podcast called Amateur Detective Club, where I review murder mystery media, and with my friends Melissa and Tyler, and that's heaps of fun. Also, if you subscribe to the podcast, you get a bonus episode of bonus podcast, and it's called Movies to Fall Asleep To, where I talk to people about their comfort movies, and it's a podcast designed to lull you to sleep. We got a couple episodes coming up that I'm very happy with. Anyway, thank you very much, Hattie, for doing this. It's been a long time coming, because we used to run this as a live show for a little bit out of the Pit Theater, which is to say the People's Improv Theater is what I just said.
Yeah,
like ATM machine. Yep.
One brain cell to rule them all.
So it's great to have you on now in this iteration.
Yeah, this is fun. And I liked this version because I feel like I can go for longer and be stupider. And it's okay because I'm in my own house in my own pajama pants.
Nice.
Yeah.
This
is fun.
Go longer, go stupider.
I would see all the movies that we made up today. I'd see them all. I would see them all with you.
I would do that too. We should go see a movie together
Okay.
sometime. I've only been to the cinema with you once.
That's true. I still, listeners who are still listening, Tristan bought me get there early from Maria Menounos shirt that we have yet to wear to a theater together.
Yeah,
we will.
We will, and I have mine in Minnesota, so I have to go grab it.
I'm Googling movies to see what's out there.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up the podcast. It's been a delight.
Oh, we could see that new Wonka.